So if 5 years is 40, what would a 20-year CDS equivalent? They don't trade at 20 years, but let's put out a 20-year number. 20 times 8 per year gives you 160 basis points. Now, the total funded and unfunded liabilities of the United States of America is approaching 200 trillion US dollars.
Hey guys, welcome back to Library of Wealth. Today we have investment advisor and Bitcoin maximalist Greg Foss discussing how Bitcoin could be viewed as credit default swap insurance, providing a valuable hedge against credit risk. He believes that a CDS is like an insurance policy on the default of a counterparty and can cover various levels of credit quality. He notes that credit rating agencies subjectively rate credit risk, and the United States credit rating is supported by its ability to print money. However, he points out that America has high entitlement and military spending, making it a zombie borrower. Foss also calculates that the United States is approaching $200 trillion in funded and unfunded liabilities. He believes that Bitcoin could be viewed as credit default swap insurance because there is no counterparty risk. Let's get right into the latest interview with Greg Foss as he gives his prediction for Bitcoin and how big banks will affect the entire economy in 2023. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you enjoy the content we do here on this channel. Let's get right into the video.
You take 160 times 200 trillion, and you get, I'm doing it in my head, $3.2 trillion would be the implied insurance value on the United States. $3.2 trillion just on the United States. What is Bitcoin trading for? So having been a credit CDS trader and a distressed debt trader my whole life, what is a credit default swap? It's basically an insurance policy on the default of any counterparty. It started, and in my case, it was on distressed debt, not distressed debt, but junk debt or lower quality debt. But it goes all the way up the credit quality spectrum, all the way to sovereign debt, which is typically the highest rated credits within any country. So, the S&P and Moody's will have a cap on the ability of a company to be rated higher than the sovereigns. Then one day there was a time when the drug companies in the U.S. were rated higher than the credit quality of the USA. But at the end of the day, understand what happens. You have various tranches of credit risk as measured by the credit rating agencies, subjective credit rating agencies. Here's the truth. If the USA could not print money to solve their debt burden, they'd be the equivalent of a CCC rated corporation, because the USA does not even cover its interest expense one turn from its EBITDA, if you will, or free cash flow. Why? Because the USA has entitlement spending and it has military spending, and the residual is not enough to pay for the interest expense. So the USA is a zombie borrower, but it can print money. If people embrace the thesis that Bitcoin could be viewed as credit default swap insurance on USA and all other countries, well, it's trading about 1/7 of its value just for the USA. And here's the really cool thing. There's no counterparty risk. Bitcoin is not an insurance company. When you hold it in self-custody, you don't have to worry about buying this insurance from an insurance company like Bear Stearns. See, when I was trading credit default swaps, I had an exposure to Bear Stearns that meant I thought I was going to have insurance from Bear Stearns. And guess what? When Bear Stearns looked like it was going to fail, I had to run out and buy insurance on my insurance company. You see how this whole circular thing works? Bitcoin is so beautiful because there's no counterparty. So there's a way to value it, and there's a way to appreciate that it has no counterparty risk. And then you could say to me, well, Greg, isn't the same thing said about gold? And I'd go, yes and no, because gold has no fixed supply. It's not transferable or portable like Bitcoin is. And most importantly, it's not auditable. There is no blockchain to audit it. And I still like gold, don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, Bitcoin is so superior as not only a technology, but also as an auditable asset. That is why I love Bitcoin, as effectively, in my view, from a credit trader's perspective, my whole life, It is the most beautiful insurance policy on the failure of fiats globally. If the thesis is leaking out, it will, be spread by bigger money risk managers who tend to look at it from a credit lens. And I will tell you, another guy that I have enormous respect for at Golden Tree, Tannenbaum, Steve Tannenbaum, he loves Bitcoin for a similar reason. And all I'll tell you is it resonates with the credit guys more quickly than it resonates with, firstly, equity guys who, in my view, are not always the sharpest tools in the shed. And then the run-of-the-mill, mom and pop. It takes a long time to permeate the entire spectrum, Michelle. So yes, everything has subjective value, but I'll just tell you, for guys that have spent their life in credit, man, it's like the penny drops right away. They're like, oh my God, this is exactly the hedge I've been looking for my whole life. Everybody can use different ways of valuing it. Other people can value it based on a technology. Other people can value it based on an information transfer protocol. So technology stock guys who I know have bought Bitcoin in Canada, they think of it as a technology, not as an insurance product. And then credit guys think of it as an insurance product. And you may think of it as totally something else. Store of value, store of wealth. All of this is what determines an open market price on Bitcoin. And that's the beauty of unmanipulated market, okay? Bitcoin is unmanipulated. The fiat Ponzi is manipulated by guys like Jerome Powell, who gets up there and tries to manipulate your cost of funds using antiquated technology and rear view mirror driving, okay? This is the problem with capitalism today. Bitcoin is a free and open market. It's a thing of beauty, and it means different things to different people, and it can get valued in a whole lot of different ways. Ultimately, it settles on a market price that is not manipulated. It's beautiful. Let's not go too far, but just imagine the idea that I laid out with the USA. Take that for the USA, add in all the G7 nations, and go all the way down to the G20. You'll come up with a number that's over $700,000 US per Bitcoin. Using credit default swaps. Hey, it's trading under 30,000. It's trading at let's do the math. It's trading at 1/27th of its intrinsic value, according to, I say the word intrinsic, you don't agree with me, I don't care. It's still 1/30th or 1/27th of the value that you could put on top of Bitcoin as a valuation metric. I don't sweat it. It's so stupid cheap. Don't overthink things. I could even give you a higher target price based on a share of total addressable market. I don't want to go there. I'm just going to say, if you own 0 Bitcoin, you're a fool.
Foss argues that for those who have spent their life on credit, the idea provides the hedge they have been looking for their whole life. And while he suggests that Bitcoin is undervalued and proposes a valuation metric using credit default swaps, it is the best asymmetric investment opportunity he has seen in his 35 years of managing risk. He suggests that its intrinsic value is over $700,000 per Bitcoin and argues that those who do not own Bitcoin are foolish. He believes that from a credit trader's perspective, Bitcoin is the most beautiful insurance policy on the failure of fiat currency. What do you think about Greg Foss's prediction for Bitcoin? And how do you think the fiat currency bubble we're seeing will affect the crypto market? Comment down below. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Library of Wealth. We'll see you in the next video.